Roberto, how does having a humane education lens, as we call it, complement your work as an advocate?
Well, I would say in three ways. Um, I view the human education lens as a multifocal lens. Okay, so one, lens for wide viewing of all the issues we deal with, whether it's animals, uh, humans, and the environment. And within each one of those, issues, there are wider issues that we need to look closer into. And here comes the microscopic lens. So now I'm viewing what what are the many issues within animal exploitation exist, in which forms, what kind of violent systems involved, how are we violent towards other humans, whether it's through racism or war, discrimination, etc. That's the microscopic lens. And also the telescopic lens to look further down the road, or ahead into the future. Okay, so I have these issues here that I can see the width of the problem. Okay, the intricacies of those issues, to look at them more closely, but also looking ahead, further down ahead. How do I envision, a better future, by creating solutions or guide others to create solutions or the best solutions possible into the future. And then I add my own lens to always keep my lens into my microcosmos polish, to look into myself, within myself. What changes do I need to do to also see those changes manifesting outside myself now and into the future? So that's how the multifocal lens of human education has complemented and strengthened my work as an advocate, as an educator. That turns into hope, because we know there are things we can actually do that have been even tried before, through education, through nonviolence, through which we can actually make those changes happen. So it's not just a theory, and this is something that can be put into practice effectively.
You advocated for the release of Lolita, an orca who died in Miami this year after a life in captivity.
Mm.
How do you think about how humane education can help see fewer animals in captivity, like the case of Lolita?
Yes, I think one way that human education is already doing it is through by inviting people, students or people in general, become a general citizenry, to engage in critical thinking. If they don't know how to do so, to teach them to question things that they might find out of place or too good to be true, etc., etc. I think that would be one way. Critical thinking is very important to encourage people to engage in questioning things like, for example, if I have a flyer of one of the aquariums and it says down here that it's humane certified, and right here that this aquarium is accredited by the Alliance of Marine Mammal Parks and Aquariums. What does that mean, that it's certified? Um, uh, why are we riding on the top of dolphins? And things like that. I would say to really encourage people to question. I would say human education is already doing the right thing. We as humane educators need to engage with other people, teach them how to be humane educators themselves. teach them how to encourage others to ask questions. That would be one way to spread the message, or to counter the message of that this industry, show to the world.
In asking people to think critically about Lolita's case, as I imagine you were doing in your advocacy work, did you see anyone change their mind?
Absolutely, right on the spot. Many times these were children who convinced their parents to make a U-turn as they were entering the parking lot. I will never forget the faces of those kids, 6, 8, 12 years old, looking in shock, seeing the messages we were showing, the pictures, the messages from advocates, mostly letting people know that this place is keeping animals who should be in the open ocean inside a concrete pool. There's no justification for this kind of places anywhere, most particularly in Florida, where you can go on a boat and see dolphins and manatees and other marine animals in their natural environment. That will be a true educational and even spiritual experience.
During the graduate program coursework, you realized we need to recognize the plight of farm workers if we want to have effective farm animal advocacy. Can you speak a little bit more about that linked oppression?
Yes, I would add that not only we must recognize the plight of farm workers to have more effective animal rights advocacy, but also to make animal advocacy more consistent with our ideals of nonviolence. Why do we advocate for animals? Number one, we don't want them to suffer. We don't want to exploit them. We don't want to use them as sources of food. So specifically when it comes to sources of food, they come to us mostly through the work of farm workers who, under our current food production system, are also exploited, are abused, and they also die under harsh climate conditions, exposed to agrochemicals. These are the people who make our vegan lives, for all who are animal advocates and also vegan advocates, make them possible. So I would say that we have a moral duty to also speak up on their behalf. They need us. These are people who don't have all the resources that many animal advocates have to have their voices heard. So they need us. They need us to be educated about how the system works in a way that ends up, let's put it this way, animalizing these human beings, meaning using them because we see them as inferior human beings. Just as we do with animals we exploit, we see them as inferior living beings. We do the same with farm workers. It's another form of violence. Again, this is where the wisdom of the foundation of humane education, of not separating animal rights, animal protection from human rights violations. They're just intimately connected. They're intimately connected. So my hope is that more animal rights advocates and organizations do address the plight of farm workers. If I could mention them here, Farm Sanctuary is doing that, and the Food Empowerment Project is doing that. And I'm very happy to see that, that they're being consistent with the ideals of not hurting other living beings.
Is there anything else you would want to just say about the graduate program and like how it's changed your outlook, your perspective, the work that you want to do?
Yes, definitely. I would like to add that having a structure or following a structure education program on these issues is supremely important if we want to be effective and responsible advocates and educators. Sure, there's a lot of reading we can do on our own, view many documentaries, as many as we want. But again, it's very important to have guides with more experience with us, to share our knowledge with fellow students, advocates, educators, see issues from different points, learn from how others have achieved success in their educational programs and advocacy, and also to encourage us to come up with ideas, to give us the confidence to trust our creativity and put them in order to be able to be shared with others and to be applied. And I think that without a structured program, I don't say it's impossible, but very difficult. I'm sure a few people can do it, but if you want to really make sure that you're going to have a good set of tools, definitely learn a humane education, get involved in a program or a certificate, definitely do so. You will not regret it.